So Mullen has stayed back above the 10 cents per share mark for now. Hi again, everyone. I hope you're all doing really well. So Monday was obviously a reduced trading session for the whole market due to the July 4th holiday, and happy 4th of July for all those who celebrate that in America, which is probably most of the people who watch this video because it's a US-based stock. Anyway, so good news for the business in a sense is that the stock did manage to stay up above the 10 cent mark in a reduced trading session. Obviously, shareholders are watching that price point quite closely. They don't want to get the delisting threat from the NASDAQ because that would obviously put further negative sentiment around the stock and put further downward pressure on the stock price. While it stayed just on the 10 cent per mark price point, I really don't think it's going to be staying there for long. My honest feeling is that this stock is going back below 10 cents per share in the short term. I think what's going to be what has to be navigated before we sort of see any sort of potential meaningful return in stock value is we're going to have to wait until this shareholder meeting on August 3rd. So we've got about a month until then, and then to see if the motion for a further reverse stock split is passed. Obviously, this is going to be another negative bit of sentiment. It's something that's obviously going to have to be done for the company to survive longer term. Now, I've sort of said before here that I am looking at adding to my position again when the stock gets back below the 10 cent per share mark. I was sort of saying around the 7 or 8 cent per share mark, I might buy in another small position to dollar cost average my existing position down a little bit. I don't have a big position in Mullen Automotive. It's a very small speculative one, but this would be adding to it in a little bit. I just understand that obviously, given that the asset value of the stock, this would be giving me, a good buying opportunity, I think, and a good way to average out the losses I've already taken on the stock. I do believe the company has good things in the pipeline. The only problem is that they've got too many irons in the fire, and I think the fireplace just isn't big enough for all their irons. And I think that's what we're really facing. In other words, the company's really stretching itself and its resources to do as much as it possibly can in the EV sector, which is great. But I think it's probably being hurt by being too ambitious at too early of a stage for the business. Anyway, but if it is able to pull off any of this stuff and reach the scale that it intends to, Mullen Automotive can very much be a very powerful player in the EV sector in the future. But obviously there's seems to be like a lot of tough times to navigate before then, and it's been tough times the last few years, and it looks like it's still further tough times ahead, although there are starting to be some shoots of hope with obviously production meaning to start this month. Now we're in July, August, and there's an estimation of deliveries of not quite 1,000 but 1,000 vehicles to be delivered this year, and the numbers for next year they're expecting to be able to put out about 10,000 plus vehicles. So there is some good news on the way, but obviously the fact that they are now cash rich due to all the dilutive warrants that have been executed. But there is some sense of stability, but generally the sentiment around the stock is quite poor at the moment. And I think, it's at 10 cents now. I do see it coming down below 10 cents. And if they get given that NASDAQ warning after 10 consecutive days, we'll probably see another drop in the stock price. And then obviously we're going to have to navigate the 3rd of August shareholder meeting, and where there will probably be some motion passed to enable a further reverse stock split, to which there will be more negative sentiment, probably pushing the stock down even further in the interim. And from there, we will probably have a reverse stock split execute, more red flags, more selling off, and the stock price continues to wear down. But then we will probably have a bit of stability in the stock, and that's going to hurt, and that's what we have to navigate. So my plan, and this is not financial advice, is I plan to try and buy a little bit more around the 7 or 8 cents per share mark, and then I'll wait and see if there is a reverse stock split. And once that reverse stock split is done, I may look at buying a bit more into the stock as well. In terms of what I'm laying out, I'm probably looking at putting about 1/3 of it in now, and maybe a further 2/3 after a reverse stock split of the amount I've earmarked for this investment. Again, not investing advice, just what I'm planning on doing. Anyway, I will leave it there for this video. I've been a little bit absent lately. I've been on vacation, but I've basically been looking after my daughter full time, and I haven't really been able to shoot as many sort of little YouTube videos as I can, as I'd like to. I'm sorry. I'll try and do a bit more, try and be a little bit better. Share your thoughts on what you think's going on with Mullen at the moment. Do you think it's going to hit, how low do you think it's going to get before August 3? Do you think it's going to bounce back? Let me know. I'd love to hear it all in there. If you're in America, happy 4th of July. And everyone else, may the markets trade in your favor. Cheers.